Welcome traders, Patrick Head Trader, Trading123.net. In this video we're going to cover the Trading123 strategy parameters and show you how easy it is to set up the strategy each day and run it. It's very simple, just enter a couple things and you're off and running. Like this trade here that we did. Strategy started right here in this dotted line, trading 2 contracts, 10 ticks first profit target, it hit it. Reversal, exits this other contract, catches the run down, 10 ticks, exits with profit, and boom, we hit our daily profit goal. So let's look at the settings we use each day to trade crude oil here. So this is the strategy settings, the properties for the strategy. You go in here and edit the times and how many contracts you want to trade. So pretty much each day you get your trend set up here. These strategies I always leave the box checked. You can shut them off if you don't want to trade long or shorts, or if you don't want the reversal to happen. You just uncheck the box, go through, set up your times here, and there's 3 entry times. 99% of the time I just have this first box checked with the times to trade. And you must start trading with the first box checked. You can't uncheck that box and set the times in these other 2 boxes, because the strategy needs this first box checked to initiate the strategy. So basically these are default times, 8:30 to 1600, which is 4 o'clock. So you can use those default times each day as long as you start the AutoTrader after 8:30. If you start it before, you'd have to change the times. Most of the time I don't start trading till crude oil till after 9 or 10 o'clock. So I'll just start the strategy with those times defaulted and it's all ready to trade. Now the second and third times are set up as traders requested that, and basically that's for, say if you want to trade the first session time, pre-market 7 to 9, and then the New York Open 9:30 to noon, and then 1 to 4, you would enable both those boxes and put the times in there. So it's fairly simple to use. Like I said, 99% of the time I'm just trading this time setup. And then the next parameters is the dynamic exits, number of bars it'll exit. I never use this feature, someone requested it. So if you wanted to scalp, say 5 contracts for 4 ticks or 4 bars, you would just put the number 4 in there and enable it, and that's what it would do. I never use the feature. And then the next entry is your quantity of shares. So I'm trading 2 contracts of crude oil, so I put a 1 in and a 1 in. You can have up to 4 entries. There's no restrictions on how many shares you can trade. So if you wanted to trade 3 contracts and just get a 10 tick profit on crude, you could put 3 in there and the rest have to be set at 0. So you always want to double check this, because one time I was trading 5 contracts of the ES and I had 5 in here, and then I switched over to the CL, and you know what happens when you trade 5 contracts of the CL. It can be pretty scary. So you always got to double check your settings before you enable a strategy. And then if you wanted to trade other combinations, you would enter them here. And then the next settings are your profit targets. You check this box if you want to trade profit targets. And so on crude oil, I got a 10 in there and the rest are 0. So the first contract, it'll trade 10 ticks and exit like it did here. 10 ticks and exit. And then the second contract, you set it to 0, and that's your runner. So you can use any profit target you want. On NQ, I use 12 and 24. And wider range days, I'll use 1836 in runner. But you can use any combination you want. Tight range days on crude oil, I'll use a 4 and 8 profit target. And then your next setting is your stop loss. You got to check that box. You want to use a stop loss. Don't trade without it. We use a 16. Some traders, I would use nothing below 10. Some days we'll use a 12 or 14, but the majority of the time we use 16 to let it trade. And then we have the break-even feature. I have that shut off, but if I'm using it, I wait for the price to move 14 ticks and trail by 5. And then the trail stop is another option you can use. It's just like the break-even. You can set it to what you want. I rarely use it because it gets in the way from all the testing I've done with it. And then we have your daily max gain and loss for the day. You got to make sure these boxes are checked. And basically, it's our profit 340 and our loss is 280, which is about 14 ticks. So the 16 tick loss really wouldn't come into play. As you see here, the AutoTrader hit the first target 10 ticks, and then the trend changed and it got out with a small profit before it ate up those 16 ticks. So when a trend changes, it's going to get you out. And then the rest of these settings right here are default. You don't have to worry about them. And then you just hit OK and apply. And then if you want to make a template for the CL, you can make a template by clicking that and select the template, give it a name, and then each day you use the same CL template, and then you can make one for the NQ also. So that's basically how we set up the software. So those were our settings when we used it here on this day trading. 10 tick profit target with our profit goal, which it hit. And then once it hits the profit goal, you just reset the strategy, unenable it. You can change the parameters if you want. If the market's starting to scream right here at 1040, you could up your profit goal. And then the next trade we started, same thing, same parameters. Starts trading just after 11, goes up, gets some profit, goes down, hits our goal once again. So that's how the software works. Hope you enjoyed the video, and good luck with your trading. If you like this video, like us on YouTube and follow our videos. For more information, visit our website at trading123.net.